different ways that you can practice your different kicks for balance, control, and just to strengthen the muscles needed to lift and hold those legs, as well as the supporting leg, the stabilizing leg. And you can practice these anywhere you have enough room. And first variation that I like to do is a relatively simple one. I'm going to do it with the front snap kick or the Maigeri for now. You would start in your regular stance, keeping your guards up as always, thinking about the 3 different ways that you can help with your balance. Keeping your guards up, leaning in with your kick as opposed to away or left or right. And you can grip the floor with your toes. You can bend the leg that you're standing on and focus on a spot in the air, whether that you're striking or a spot on the wall or somewhere that's not moving, to kind of help you concentrate. So what you can do is you can do it in the 4-count method or 5 depending on the kick that you're doing. But the 4-count method for the front snap kick would go like this. You would have your guards up. On 1, we would bring it up to chamber. 2, we would try to straighten it all the way out, locking that leg as high as we can. 3, we would bring it back to chamber. And then 4, we would bring it back down. And if you were doing this with the other kicks, the count method, single count method, for the other kicks would be 5 counts. So for roundhouse, you would chamber it on 1. On 2, you would flip it and turning it sideways. 3, you would be locking it straight out again. 4, bringing it back. And then 5, touching it to the knee before bringing it back down. So that last part is all in one motion. Side kick would be similar. 1, chamber. 2, turn it to the side. 3, locking it out. 4, pulling it back. 5, turning it and putting it down. If you were doing the crescent kick, you would chamber it to 1. If you were doing an outside, you would hook it back to your knee and then down. If you're doing inside, you would chamber it, hook it back to your knee, and then down. So those are the 4 basic kicks: front, round, side, and crescent, which, combining different bits and pieces, will give you other kicks: hook kicks, axe kicks, spinning techniques, tornado kicks. All those other kicks are combinations of little bits and pieces of those 4 main kicks. But to practice that one a little bit more challenging is you could go for a certain number and you can count in your head. So if I was going to do each count, say for the front snap kick, I would start out with a low number and I would try to get as high as I can in between. So maybe I'd start with 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and down. And then you could rest, relax, shake your legs out. You could do that for multiple times, both right and left side, all your different kicks. You can now stretch that number out a little bit longer, which is going to be a little bit more harder. So you can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and down. And you can increase that number all the way up to 10, 15, 20, however long you can go, to especially where you're holding it out there without dropping it or bouncing or shaking it and lifting it back up. We want to have perfect control, and you're going to start to feel it in all those little tiny muscles in your leg that you're supporting yourself with, as well as the leg that is holding that kick out there. And the height is up to you depending on your flexibility. Most of our kicks we try to at least get waist level or solar plexus level and down. Any higher is entirely up to you. And if you want to work on some flexibility issues or balance issues, you could use props, things like chairs, a wall, anything that you want to use that will help you be able to focus more on the leg that you're kicking with as opposed to controlling yourself with balance. You don't want to rely on this as much as you can, but you could play the same type of game. You could try not to hold it for however long you can, or you can just focus on building that strength. 1, 2, just kind of using this for help, but really working on that muscle to hold that leg up there for whichever kick that you're trying to work on. And the more you strengthen those leg muscles, the less you're going to need a support, because you're going to have that balance. But you don't want to rely on this too much, but I'd rather you do it slow with good form and good technique and build that muscle, and then use the support later on. Because when we're doing it for real, we're not going to be coming at them slow. So if I can fire it fast and get it back down, I don't need support for anything. Plus, you could also be holding on to the person's hand. You could be holding on to them for balance, for support if you need to. Another way you can practice is you can use a prop. It could be anything that you feel is not too heavy, something that's a little bit flat on one side. You can use things like balls or sticks. We have this square ball, which is a little bit harder to balance, but you can use it to help focus everything you have into that one spot where you're not shaking it all over the place. You can also use sticks. They could be eskrima sticks, or they could be bow staffs or joe staffs, little broom handles, anything that you can use to balance it onto your leg to help you with your balance. Now, the tricky part with this is when you're extending it, try not to let it fall to either side, and when you're bringing it back down. You can use a variety of options, but I like to use the square pads because we have them here, but it could be a small pillow, anything that you have that you can use. So what I like to do is I like to chamber it up on one. Once I get my balance, I'll place it high enough where it's not going to fall off. Keeping my balance, I can still go through it slow, focusing on not having to use it if I can. But you'll see, especially when you're bringing it back, you have a tendency of rolling it off the side. So you want to try to find that nice sweet spot, balance it, work it straight out, work it back in. And you can do this again with any of your kicks. If you're doing side kick chambers, you can do that as well. Roundhouse, but you need to be able to make sure that you can get that leg up high enough to where it's not going to be rolling off. If your flexibility is an issue and you can only do it down here, you're not going to be able to do it. You can use the chair or any other type of object to help you get that leg up so that you can practice nice and slow control with your kicks. And then later on, you can also do it a little bit faster to where you can practice trying to get your kick from here in and out without dropping it as much as you can. One of the other ways that you can use a chair, a bed, a bench, a small table, anything that you can use that's safe enough for you to practice with, you can use this for your height. And you can work on, from your stance, chambering it up, making sure it goes over, bringing it back, and bring it down. This will help you from swinging your foot up to where you're going to hit the bottom, or after you kick, dropping it down, or pulling it back as you're dropping. So it's going to help you really have to keep that leg up high, and you can have the height however high you can make it. And again, you could also use something for balance. This could also work with your side kicks as well. I can slide in, chamber my foot up, throw it out, bring it back over. Again, working on controlling that kick, bringing it up, out, back, and down instead of fast and sloppy turning around and losing your balance and losing sight of your target. And you can do this with a variety of different heights and levels and all the different kicks as well. And one other fun drill that you can do to help you with your kicks is play a little game with the balloon, almost like you're playing hacky sack or you're juggling with a soccer ball. But for what we do, we want to try to keep that chamber up nice and high and try not to put our foot down. And you can just practice how many times you can, chamber it up and work on moving forwards and back, getting full extensions of your kicks, trying not to hit it too high, different legs as you want, trying to keep it up as long as you can. Again, keeping your good guard. Again, you could just play with it, keeping your foot up and down, moving where you need to go to work on your targeting, or you can just practice holding it up the whole time and making sure you're getting good extensions of your kicks as you need to.